Okay, that should be on. About to go on in just a few minutes right now. Just going early. Hey, what's good? What's good? You
How you
know,
doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I know we're a little bit early, but everybody's starting to get on here. So
Oh yeah, looking
yeah,
forward to it. Hello, everyone watching. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. I certainly am.
yeah. No, I appreciate you going on here. I really do. It means a lot to me. This first episode, so I look forward to this.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a really important topic to talk about. So I'm happy to come on. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. No, I. When you told me about you want to be on here, like I was like, we definitely need to do this. It's a topic that a lot of people don't know about, or they
Yes.
only know a little bit about. So, I think you're a perfect person to be on here and,
Yes.
tell the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so um, if you want to go, we can. It's 7:59 right now, so if you want to start, we can start it. Welcome guys. This is Bubba Too Real. My name is Bubba Too Real, keeping it real. You know the deal. This is Real Talk with Bubba Too Real. So this is my first ever episode. So if you guys aren't um, don't know about this, this is a dating podcast where I basically interview people that come on here. They tell their story about their dating relationship experiences. Today, I have a special guest. Would you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Absolutely. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Ware. I go to Eastern Michigan, just like Grant does. I'm sorry, just like Bubba does.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know.
And I'm a fifth year senior going into elementary education. And I've known I wanted to do that for a very long time. But yeah, a little bit about me is I just like to bring awareness to certain issues, um, mainly autism, since I have that myself. So I think that's definitely one of the things I do outside of my job and all that.
Okay, so tell me, what do you do for a living? What is your job that you actually do?
So I have a few hats. Some are right now, some are short term, some are long term.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I know how that is.
yeah. So as of now, I do before and after care at a private school. Uh, I do it from about 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then I have a bunch of the day off, and then I go from 3:30 to 6 p.m. And so that's basically what I do. I basically make sure that kids are staying out of trouble and keeping up with their schoolwork. It's not too bad. Then starting this summer, I'm going to do YMCA. I'm going to be a camp counselor there. That'll consist of around 4 months of work, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. Um, but this will be my second year doing it. But the long term is that I'm going to be an elementary educator, as I said. I believe that at the age I'm going into, which is third grade, the minds of the students are very moldable, and you can have a good impression on them, or you can have a bad impression on them. So I'm going to choose to have a good impression.
No, I know as we talked earlier, you were talking about your job, and I told you, you know, no matter what situation that you're going in, what you're dealing with in that day, how much stress you have, when you go around kids, like you have to drop that and leave that alone. You have to drop that and, you have to put a smile and it's important to teach these kids, out here with everything that's going on and stuff like that, teaching the mind of the future is the most important thing, so it's definitely important that, have a good teacher and educator that can brighten, that can lead them to the future and showing them the right path. Because a lot of students, they learn from the teachers and the people that they're around. So that's important.
Like I'm going to be the biggest role model outside of their parents. So
Yeah.
definitely a huge responsibility.
Yes. So I wanted to go to your next question. Um,
Yeah.
Tell me about a little bit about your early life, growing up as a kid.
It was rough. I mean, I definitely didn't get along. I spent most of my time on the playground, not like playing with other people, just kind of like in my own thoughts, basically. Because I was definitely like more of a thinker than a player. And I always sort of felt isolated. Like I didn't have a whole lot of friends. Growing up, I had great friends, but I think at that age, I just really needed like a multitude of them, if that makes sense. At the early age,
I can relate to that. I can relate to
yeah,
growing
yeah.
up.
Um, and even before my diagnosis, I knew like something was different about me. I could tell. Like there were like the jokes I was making weren't falling. People treated me different than everybody else. People were reacting differently. Um, and I could tell that my behavior was different than the vast majority of students. So
Okay.
it was uh, it was interesting, but not a whole lot of positives.
Did you do any sports or anything like that when you were in kid or anything like that? Or,
Uh,
just
yeah, I did pretty much every sport there was.
okay.
Because my dad, what my dad did was he basically wanted me to sign up for like every sport I could, because like he wanted to see if anything stuck, so to speak, and like see if I had any natural talent or anything. So the I mean, I sort of developed a habit of that when I was on my own, basically trying something for 6 months. And obviously, if you're good at it, that means you have natural talent.
Yeah.
So, and the two things that stuck, or the three things that stuck, were basketball, cross country, and taekwondo. And I've
Oh wow, that's
done all.
quite diverse. I've been there, did wrestling, I did track and field, and then I did football for a little bit. So I've been, triathlete, so I can relate to that.
Totally, yeah. I've also tried to do a couple triathlons, but they didn't go out too well. But I that's for sure.
No, I completely understand. I tried to do cross country for 1 year. I remember it was like 90 degrees out in first practice and try to run and end up getting a heat stroke. So,
Really?
it was not, I learned that day that was not for me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, next question I want to go to. For the audience, that don't know what autism is, well,
Mhm.
in your own words, what would you define as autism?
So autism is a neurological condition where the neurons in our brain connect in different ways um, than normal people. And by normal, I mean like common people, so to speak. Um, and basically, we each have our own. We all have our own talents. We all have our own abilities. We all have our own skills, our own passions, our own lifestyles. Um, and autism is absolutely not a bad thing. It's only considered a bad thing because it's a different thing. And in society, where inevitably we're placed into tribes of our own,
Yeah.
um, we tend to dislike things that are considered abnormal or different. So the reason that society does not approve of autism is not because of autism itself. It's because of society's reaction to it, basically.
Okay. Okay. So, um,
And I will add that the employment discrimination is a very real thing. And that's not saying that autistics can't do their jobs at all. Quite the opposite, actually. Most of us can do our jobs quite well. I certainly can. It's the it's the social issues that we're unable to control that greatly negatively affects that.
this is off the topic question that I had. So,
Sure.
did you have any experiences being you know, from employers, from being denied from a job or anything like that? Could you,
Oh,
give your example, give a story or give example that when it happened?
um, so the example I can think of is applying for a camp counselor job. This is back in 2018. Basically, I had all the right qualifications because I double checked them going in. I double checked my resume, make sure it's yes, Audra, great point. Autistic people are very capable. But so sorry, where was I? Oh yeah, I had taken classes online to like improve my resume, so I knew my resume was good. Good resume, right qualifications. Got on the interview and I got really nervous. I started stimming, which this, by the way, is stimming. It's a way of calming me down.
Yeah.
Um, and then I was just giving my normal quirks. Like there's really no control over that. Just being awkward, and I guess they thought that would get in the way of my relationship with coworkers. That's all I can think of, because they turned me down. And they said the demand was very high for that too. So it for, from a reasonable conclusion, that's what I found.
Yeah, no, that's messed up. Like I said, it's unfortunate that you weren't able to get that job just because of a situation that something that you cannot control.
Yes,
And especially if it's a job that's high demand and you know you're capable of doing a job, you can show that you're capable of doing a job.
sure,
Definitely.
yeah.
So, how would also you say like autism has affected with your dating relationship? Are you currently are you single? Or are you in a relationship right now?
Single.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, autism has. I do think it's gotten in the way of dating. Definitely. Um, Essentially, there's a natural like connection disorder that I face, and there's also a communication barrier. And when you're looking for a significant other, those things are essential to make it work out. You need to have good communication. You need to what was the other thing I said? Good communication.
Good, good. My apology. You should be good at communication as well as being able to um express your emotions as well.
Yeah,
That's
express emotions, absolutely.
yes.
Uh, so you definitely need to be very vulnerable and intimate.
Yeah.
And you also need to like have two brains that are communicating accurately with each other, so that you're able to make very important decisions. Like,
Yeah. I mean, that's with any relationship, sometimes, communication is always hard. That's something that even I myself struggle with. It's something that I've constantly been trying to work every day, trying to get better with. So,
that's right.
completely.
But with this, that makes it like extra difficult. Um, and that's just the reality. The other thing is, I sort of like people who are very similar to me. I know a lot of people say like opposites attract, but that's not really true to me. Like I like somebody with definitely the same personality, preferably somebody on the spectrum, because um, oh, thank you, Audra. I appreciate that. Preferably someone on the spectrum because you know, that's basically where my furthest relationships have become from. Um, like I've tried a couple dating opportunities with neurotypicals, and unfortunately, it's never turned out well. The longest relationship I had, which was 2.5 years, that that had the significant other had a form of neurodiversity. Um, so having I think having somebody that understands the societal struggle is very important to me, because it sort of like puts us on the same page of like what we go through and what help we need in order to work through it. Um, what else was I gonna say? The final thing I'd like to add is I think even with other neurodiverse people, people are naturally like turned off by quirks,
Mm.
and I'm as you figured out, I'm a very quirky person, and some people find that uncomfortable, which is, I mean, I definitely see where they're coming from. Like a lot of times, like it gets in the way of having like a really good conversation, just because like you're fumbling over your words and all that. And I think that can be pretty hard for some people to accept. Um, so I really just like got to work hard at finding somebody who's totally cool with that, and unfortunately, that's a bit difficult in today's world.
Well, I would say definitely. Well, for you, you made it where it's a characteristic where you made it of your own. You don't
Sure.
let it affect
Well,
you.
I mean
Period.
see, that's the thing. Like, I own my awkwardness. I own my quirks. Like, that's who God made me as, and I'm not going to deny that. But for society in general, that seems to be an issue.
No,
Um, so it doesn't affect me at all. It's the other people.
no, I completely understand.
Mhm.
I would just say when you meet people, how do you go where you meet people? Do you go on online dating or do you go through just meeting people in person? Like, what
Mhm.
would you? How do you meet people?
I definitely want to meet people in person. The reason for that is because I tend to be very gullible and I have a very vulnerable mindset. And I often get scammed a lot without my knowledge. Like there are warning signs that just pass me by. And with the online world, with all the catfishing going on out there, it's definitely plausible and very possible for me to fall into somebody who's different than what they say, or it doesn't even exist at all. And obviously, if I went through something like that, that would be a week to month long process to recover from that. Like that would be a very shocking experience.
Yeah,
So, like when you meet someone online, or I'm sorry, not online, in person, like if you meet them for the first time and then you get to know them for a while, get their number, and then say like, okay, you wanna like try to date, let's hang out, let's meet up. Um, then at least like they're who they are, and then you're able to figure out the qualities of them later down the road. But at the very least, that there's someone who you can regularly talk to, whether you like them or not.
yes, no, I can relate to being catfish. I've had that experience multiple times,
Yeah,
and actually, I just had an experience twice in Atlanta. I was just in Atlanta last week, so
mhm.
I was trying to network with people, try to do photography and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Thought completely, thought completely, they were legit. They had a whole website. They had, I reached out to followers and people that said that worked with them said, oh, they're completely fine. Showed me pictures of their work and stuff like that. And, I
yeah,
reached out to them like a month and a half and we had a conversation and, you know, gave them deposit that they said they needed deposit first half of payment first. And then when we're done, get the other half afterwards. And, I got scammed. It's an unfortunate thing that happens to all of us. And I can only imagine how hard it is for you. So
yeah.
you we kind of brushed on it earlier a little bit. You're talking about, what do you look for in a person when you're talking to them? Like what personality traits do they have or qualities that they have?
Um, so I like people with a lot of patience, a lot of understanding. Um, Definitely, I want somebody to like reach out back if I reach out to them if I need anything like support or anything. I want them to be be there for that. I want them to have reliable communication because I know I struggle with that myself. So I want that. I want that to be made up, so to speak, from the other person. The other thing, I want is for them to be a Christian, to have similar beliefs as me. That's pretty much the main thing right there. Um, I also want them to take dating very seriously. I don't want them to just like brush it. Um, I don't want them to treat it like it's like a game or
No, I
something.
could understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like something fun you can do on the weekends. For me, I take dating so seriously that whenever I date, I actually use that to prepare for marriage.
Yeah.
So, for example, the last girlfriend I had, we made it 2.5 years. I was hoping to marry her eventually in the future. So I definitely want someone dedicated because I definitely am dedicated.
No, I completely understand that. I think in just today's dating aspect, sphere that's right now, it's hard to
Uh,
find a person where it's like, ready to marry. I know
yeah.
from my experience where it's
Well,
like,
there's so much like nearsightedness in today's world. Like people just want to like have like one night hangouts and then like be on their way. Like they're not looking at like the long term picture and what benefits that could bring.
yeah,
Um, which has definitely made humanity's view in general very shallow. I think very shallow of how they see other people. Um, men I From what I've seen, men see women very shallowly, and also women see men very shallowly. Obviously there's quite a bit of outliers, but in general we've sort of objectified the idea of relationships when in reality it's a very um, I'd say majestic thing almost. It definitely needs to be like treated with more respect than it is.
would you say that social media would cause an effect of this, or with entertainment as well?
Totally, totally.
Yeah,
I mean, with social media, you're basing your opinion on someone off of their pictures and what they say, um, which you don't even like get time to get to know them and like meet up in person. So it plays a huge role in it. I've that's why I only use social media to advocate for social issues, and not post any like not post any like pictures of my own personal life, because that causes people to provide quick and unnecessary opinions.
yes. I mean, that is the unfortunate thing about social media, which is the aspect of it. Um, I know that we talked briefly about well, you did tell me this earlier regarding to you had your own YouTube channel. You want to mention it onto the podcast to everybody?
Yeah. So I have a YouTube channel called Alex's Autism Acceptance Channel. I'm at about I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and I make all sorts of videos, anywhere from talking about discrimination in the workforce to my own personal experiences. And I also give other autistics advice on how to live their life and how to better interact with society, and how they can make changes to have society interact better with them. Um, I believe my channel is very important and I take it very seriously. And I'd really appreciate it if you all checked it out.
No, I
And
look forward to watching some of your videos. Like, um, from one content creator to another content creator. I like to see the dedication and hard work that somebody has, and somebody that I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and it just gives me more motivation to see somebody else is doing it and that's consistently putting out content
yeah,
constantly. I appreciate.
what do you mean when you say anti-social media are the worst?
I'm looking at it too.
Um,
Yeah,
feel free to like ask the next question. Um,
yeah. I was gonna end it close. So we're almost. We had a couple extra minutes, but I was wondering
mhm.
want to respond back. But what is lastly? My last question is, what would you want the audience to take away from this interview?
Um,
The
I
most.
want to take away that dating um, when you have autism is a genuine problem. It's not just a couple of people with personal stories. Statistically, it is a huge problem. A recent study found that only 32% of autistic adults had a partner, which is really low compared to the average population. And also, only 9% were actually able to get married and sustain a healthy relationship for several years. That's a
Yeah, I'm reading the comments too as well.
yeah. Um, and that's a percentage where unfortunately a lot of people are using are like trying to get a relationship, um, and the fact that they're not definitely says a lot about society's attitude, I think. So that's what I want you guys to take away from this, that like um, autistic people are able to love. We have a lot of empathy. We just need people who are patient and people who can work with us. And the majority of us are able to give our significant others a very good relationship if they give us a chance.
Well, I want to say thank you for being on here. I really do appreciate you. And
Absolutely.
maybe in the future line, have you on here again. Like I said, I appreciate everything, for
Thank you. God bless you as well.
and thank you. Really do appreciate you. This is first ever podcast, and like this experience, some of it's gonna be entertainment, but I want to have some, that informational. That's the whole point. So, basically the whole point of this podcast is basically teach people and be relatable, so that any person that goes on here that watches it, they can relate to the person that's speaking as
Yeah,
well. They might be going through similar situations or see red flags that they might, could relate to, and maybe make a decision from there. So, well,
sure. And the I really do like what you're doing, the giving as many people as possible a platform to share your story, because when you do share your story, it just adds to the diversity, and it adds to the uniqueness of Instagram and this world, which is, I mean, that's why I started my channel, to share my story. um, so I definitely take any opportunity I can to do that.
Alex, I want to say thank you for being on here, and I look forward to having you on here again.
Absolutely.
All right,
Take care.
take care, you guys.